That's one reason why they let a lot of illegals in, because now they're letting them vote, right? And they're giving them access to vote. So that's their whole game plan, right? You let illegals in, so then they could get the votes. That's number one. Number two, they give they give a lot of things to the very, very poor people, right? There's a lot of government programs, so then they'll get their votes, right? It's the middle class and the upper class it's the middle class that's getting affected, unfortunately.
A leader has to take the risks. What's up, Mr. David Rovira? We got the main man here.
You're in Newport right now.
I'm in Newport Beach right now, yeah.
Okay.
So,
and you're just burnt out, but you like the beach.
Well, I know I do like the beach, but you know, I raised my kids in Rancho Cucamonga. I don't know if you knew that or not, but I raised my kids out there. So my son lives out there. So my son's going to be living with me at that house. So my ex-wife, she moved to San Diego. And so we had a choice. We're like, okay, do we sell this house or do we, what do we do? And I said, you know what, let's just move around some stuff and we're not going to sell it because I just feel like right now is not the right time to sell it. So I don't sell it right now. And it's worth a lot of money. I mean, it's a valuable piece of property. The location is amazing. And so for that property, it just doesn't make sense for me to offload it. So maybe in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I don't know, in next few years, I'll kind of readjust things if I want to, but my parents live out there too. So my parents are only, 20 minutes away. So I have a pretty close relationship with them too, so we're going to be talking about how to be an entrepreneur, you being an entrepreneur. We're talking about investing today. We're going to talk about e-commerce. We're going to talk about marketing. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about today, man. So how did you get on this journey though, man? Like, where did it all start for you? What kind of kid were you growing up? Like, who motivated you? Did you have like a mentor that pushed you into doing all this stuff?
I was a bad kid, Daniel. No, my parents came from Bolivia, right? So from South America, and they didn't speak any English, right? So when they came here, I didn't have those mentors and amazing role models to learn about business and marketing and e-commerce and things. They just wanted to learn English. Right. And when your parents are they migrate here, they get the worst job, right? They're doing house cleaning, they're cleaning cars, they're mowing lawns. Those are the jobs my parents had right at the beginning because they didn't speak English. And then as they evolved, they got better jobs as they learned English, right? But as a kid, it was tough for me because I didn't have I only learned English when I went to school. When I came home, I was speaking like Spanglish, Spanish and English. So growing up was tough, but my parents were really like disciplinary, right? My dad was a captain in the military. Oh, wow. And he got a scholarship. Yeah, he got a scholarship to come to America. And that's how they were able to come, my mom and dad. And so he was very disciplined. I was like, I couldn't do anything without like doing my chores, cleaning my room, making my bed, they would put me to work, So I kind of learned that discipline from my mom and dad.
So you were like that young, maybe didn't have a lot of money kid. You probably got in a little bit of trouble, but you were just motivated. Like I can read people really well and correct me if I'm wrong, but I read you as that kid that just wanted to get rich, man, that wanted to do something big with your life. You were fucking motivated and just wanted to do something big. Was that you?
Yeah. I mean, I would see like a Lamborghini on a movie or because, I didn't live in a rich area, right? So we wouldn't see those cars in my area, but on movies and on TV, you would see all these big mansions and nice cars. And I'm like, I want that, right? And when you're a kid, you're only dreaming. You're hoping one day you're going to get there, but you don't know if it's going to happen. And I was that kid. I was always hungry, and not just in business. I was hungry in sports. Like I wanted to be a pro athlete. I loved sports. So I just always kind of wanted to be the best, but I didn't know what was going to happen.
What was the sport that you were most excited about?
I was really good in soccer. I actually got a full ride soccer scholarship to go to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, SLO. So that's where I graduated from. That's where I got my bachelor's degree, but I got recruited to go there. I got recruited to go to a lot of schools, but I was a bad high school student, so I didn't have a good GPA to get into a lot of schools. And my SAT scores were awful, right? So it limited the schools I could go to because I was very bad academically, which kind of sucked.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? I mean, do you think that like in this world, in this day and age, that you think college is that important anymore like it used to be?
It's funny you say that. I tell people now, like, I'm not gonna, like, my kids probably will not be going to college. I'm just being, unless, in 20 years from now, or 18 years from now, the whole school system changes, right? But as the way the school system is currently, I will not send my kids there because they're going to learn more with me at the dinner table in an hour than they'll learn in 4 years in school, unfortunately, right? So to me, it would be a waste of time, a waste of money. And in those 4 years, they could already be doing 8 figures in their business.
Yeah, I mean, it just going to one of your growth talks. I mean, you do growth talks every month now, and you bring in some of the most badass people and into your, by the way, your mansion, your freaking Beverly Hills mansion on the hill, one of the most beautiful homes I've ever been into. And but yeah, I mean, you do these growth talks. So I mean, if people would just stick their kids in something like that, imagine what could happen to them. Because the way I look at it, David, and add, add on to what I'm talking about, we're you go to one of these growth talks, you're actually meeting people that are doing it right now. Not a college professor that did it like 20 years ago. He's talking about shit. Yeah. He's talking about the Macintosh, computer. Yeah. And these people at the growth talks, they're talking about what I did yesterday and how I built what I built yesterday. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned a good point. I mean, you were a speaker at the growth talks, right? So I have people like you that are super successful, that could bring so much value to the audience, right? Yesterday, I had Christopher 𝐶. I don't know if you know who he is, but this guy is a monster. He's on stages with Elon Musk and billionaires, right? Tim Story, just guys that are worth millions and billions of dollars. He's known as the billionaire networker. That's what he's known for on Google. Everyone knows. So he's networking with billionaires. I don't know about you, Daniel, but I'm not a billionaire yet, right? And who are the best people to learn from? Billionaires. They've been there and done it. And this is who this guy surrounds himself with, right? So I was with him yesterday. We're WhatsApping each other. We're becoming friends. He messaged me this morning. Like, these are the type of people I want to surround myself with because I'm going to learn from them. And those are the kind of people that come to the growth talks. I had billionaires, people worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He brought 2 of his friends that are billionaires. Wow. Yesterday. Wow. So I had like billionaires at my house yesterday, guys worth tons of money. People flew in from out of state. It's amazing. It's a great event, and you get so much value and amazing networking.
Yeah, imagine, and it's not that expensive to put yourself in that environment. I mean, it's not like you charge, tens of thousands of dollars to go hang out at, to be a part of this. Which, by the way, I just stuck my daughter in college. She's going to San Diego State, and again, I mean, college is, I don't think it's for everybody. And I think some people want to go to college. They want that experience or whatever. My daughter was one of those people. God bless her. Wonderful. We're doing it. But the way I look at it, man, I stick my son or I stick my agents or I stick my friend in an environment like that, they're going to get way more out of that event. Not to mention just the people you're going to meet, man. I mean, imagine you're going to rub elbows with billionaires. You're going to rub elbows with people worth millions and millions of dollars. And I just think it's just so valuable. I mean, so when you look back, right? Was there a turning point? Because it sounds like you were kind of a rambunctious kid, maybe got in a little bit of trouble. You were, you know, obviously a focused soccer athlete, but like, was there a transition where you said, okay, soccer, I'm done with it. I need to move on and go start making money? Like, is that, when did that happen?
It's funny you mentioned that. So I got out of college. I went to South America and played soccer professionally after I graduated, and I tore tendons and ligaments in my left ankle when I was in Bolivia. But I kind of went there with a minor injury because my senior year, I kind of got hurt a little bit. So when I went to go play soccer professionally, I was kind of going with a little injury. And then when I went there, I just messed it up really bad. So then I came back to California, to LA, and I got a job, my first job in corporate America. And after, you know, I get my first job and I get fired at my first job.
What was it? What were you doing, by the way?
I was a recruiter. I was a headhunter. Okay. So I was hiring accounting and financial professionals, because when I got my bachelor's degree, I got it in finance. I was a finance concentration when I went to Cal Poly. So I knew about accounting and finance. So I was recruiting accounting and financial professionals. I got fired at my first job. And then this is where the turning point happened. I went out that night. I got drunk with my friends in Hollywood, tried to drive home like an idiot. There wasn't Ubers at this time, right? People drove to bars and clubs, right? I drove home, got pulled over by a cop, got a DUI, went to jail in downtown LA. I'm in jail with criminals, gang members. I was scared shitless. I felt like I was this tall. I felt like the biggest loser in the world. I just got fired from my job. I'm in jail with criminals. And then this is when the wake-up call came. I was like, corporate America is not for me. There's no such thing as job security in corporate America. I got fired and I have a bachelor's degree. And I was the hardest working guy in that freaking office. And I'm like, how did I get fired? Because I came in on a weekend to get a little head start, and I was trying to get the leads before everyone else because I was hungry. I wanted to make sales.
Right.
And I got fired because I tried to get the leads before someone else. So I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, I need to start a business. So when I got out of jail, that was the transitionary period. I go, I'm going to start a business.
That's pretty wild. You know, it just, I mean, I'm having flashbacks of parts of my life, you know, when I was a young kid, and I just remember, you know, hanging out all day long, being a loser at one of my buddies' house, you know, drinking, smoking, doing stupid things, you know.
Yeah.
I just remember going back home that night and feeling like such a fucking loser, man. And I felt low too. I felt really low, felt very small. And I was kind of disgusted with myself. You know, I was like, is this what I'm going to do with the rest of my life? I'm going to literally be a freaking loser. And then like a week later, a buddy of mine recruited me into the company that I ended up building, that I've had for 28 years, you know? And so, but what an amazing thing that one bad situation, one, you know, kind of a light bulb goes off in your head. And next thing you know, you change your life. Pretty wild stuff, you know?
Yeah, like what happened to you, right? You were on the couch, hanging out, doing drugs with your friends, and then your friend presented that one opportunity to you to change your life.
Changed my life, man. You know, so when you look at like, you know, your investing philosophy, do you have an investing philosophy? Like, you know, when people start making money, like, what do you recommend they start doing with that money? Say somebody comes into 50,000 or 100,000 or something like that. What do we do with it?
Great question. So it obviously depends on your current situation, right? So let's say I tell people when they're young, let's say you're in your 20s and you don't have any money yet, don't invest in the stock market yet, because I'd rather you put that money into learning skills and maybe starting a business, because that's going to make a lot more money than investing it in the stock market, let's say, right? You're learning skills where you can make $1 million, $100,000 a month, right? You're not going to make that with putting $1,000 in the market, right? So first learn some skills, maybe get some coaching, and maybe start a business. And then when you start having some consistent money, then I 100% agree you should invest it. You put it in maybe you put it in a life insurance, maybe you put it in a 401k plan, maybe a Roth IRA, put it in real estate. I buy everything. Just so you know, Daniel, I put my money, I own a ton of real estate. I have a ton of money in the market. I have life insurance. I have, Roth IRAs. I have different vehicles. I'm looking to buy companies now. So I put 2 letters of intents to buy 2 companies. So now I'm buying businesses. I'm starting new businesses. So I believe in diversification. I don't believe one person should put all their money in one thing, because what if that one thing doesn't work? It collapses the market, the economy. And now you're like, I'm out of business. I'm like, I'm covered. If the real estate market goes bad, I still got a lot of the money in the market. The market goes bad, I still got a lot of money in real estate. If both of those go bad, I still own a lot of companies. So I'm kind of good either way. That's my philosophy.
I like that. I like that. I mean, I like everything you said, other than investing in your life insurance. I'm not okay with that one, but that'll be a different conversation for another podcast. But of course, I mean, diversification. I tell people all the time. I mean, if you look at my business today, we have 1,500 licensed agents. I mean, I look at every independent agent as another stream of income. Obviously I don't treat people like properties or income or anything like that, but think about it. I mean, as I recruit, as I grow, as I build, I'm able to diversify everything, because, one guy might quit. One guy might end up becoming, a superstar, right? So that to me was always diversification in my mind. Of course, real estate is so important. Investing in the stock market, so important. Diversifying I bought a couple of businesses through the years as well. So of course I have, venture capital as well. So yeah, what you're doing is right on. And it's exciting, man. It's exciting to hear from people that just get it, because a lot of people don't remember 2008 and 2009, and, stock market goes down. People are jumping off of buildings. I mean, committing suicide. I mean, people are losing everything. I don't know if you were affected back then, but I look back and I was very, very happy. Even though a lot of my accounts in my stock market went down, I was very happy that I had a lot of things, even though the value, the property values of some of the properties went down. I just looked at my life and I said, well, first of all, this is a buying opportunity, number one. Right. This is a chance to actually buy everything at a discount, which I did. And looking back, you go, but I'm so happy that I was diversified through my businesses, real estate, and market. So, when you look back, though, as you were starting your businesses and in your business cycle career, was there any challenges? Like if you were to think about, fuck, man, this happened and this devastated me, or I had a major challenge here, or this happened, or whatever. Was there any challenges that you had?
I mean, throughout the years as an entrepreneur and a business owner, we have challenges every day. I mean, that's the reality, right? Every day something breaks, something goes wrong. Because I run, let's say, a lot of traffic online. I have a lot of e-commerce related e-commerce businesses. So I'm running marketing ads. So let's say I'm running Facebook ads, and that ad's I'm making $100,000 a day in sales. And then Facebook shuts my account down. I'm losing $100,000 a day in sales. And Facebook I might not give you your account back for a month. So I just lost $3 million in that month. It's like crazy. Like things like that have happened to me. I've been in a lawsuit where I had to write a $2.1 million wire for a lawsuit case that I lost, right? Where I was in the right, where a lawyer screwed me over, and I had to write send a $2.1 million wire.
So what happened? Like, what did they accuse you of? What did they say you did wrong?
It was an attorney we hired we had like insurance captives, and this guy just screwed us over. And then the arbitrator we didn't know this later, they golfed together. They golfed.
Wow.
That was the arbitrator.
Wow.
How fair of a case is that going to be when the arbitrator is a guy he goes golfing with on the weekends? So I'm just saying, it's like, these are things where you're completely in the right. There's, it's who you know a lot of times in legal, right? I mean, you hear the O.J. Simpson case, you see some of these people like, how did that person get off? How did that, if you know the right people or you have the right judge or the right arbitrator, things work out for those people. So I've learned, but that taught me a lot about asset protection. I learned I'm never going to put myself in a position where everyone sees all my assets. So that was a wake-up call for me. And then I started getting involved in irrevocable trust and getting, getting things out of my name and protecting my assets. And now I'm more asset protected now. And I think it was a life lesson. And you learn from these life lessons, right? Like when I talked about the marketing, I talked about the lawsuit. There's, I've had ex-business partners try to steal from me, right? So I've had people I had a big marketing agency, an affiliate program. Do you know what an affiliate program is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I had
but explain it if somebody doesn't know, like what's an affiliate program?
So an affiliate program is, I had a whole bunch of it's kind of almost what Amazon is, right? A whole bunch of different brands pay other people to market their brands a commission. So let's say you have a clothing line, you get an influencer or called an affiliate to market my clothing brand, and then I pay them a commission every time they drive me a sale. So that's what kind of an affiliate program is, right? You pay influencers, affiliates to market your products, and you pay them a commission when they make a sale. So I had a huge affiliate program with all these affiliates. And then one of my tech guys tried to steal all my data, my affiliates, my whole software, and start his own affiliate program with all my affiliates, my tech, my back end. And then, these things have happened to me where people try to steal my business right underneath me. And I've had to deal with that. I've had to deal with business partners that were supposed to be focused on our business, and he's running a whole other business on the side and not telling me. Wow. And my other business partners, my other business partner, excuse my language, we're working our asses off every day to grow this business. And you have a whole other business that you're working on that you're not even bringing us involved in the business. And you're putting most of your time into that. So I've had all these business partners, doing other things behind their backs, people trying to steal my business, my customers, my affiliates, $2.1 million lawsuits, Facebook and ad companies shutting my ad accounts down. Like, I've gone through tons of stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's, people think, they look at successful people and they're like, they got no problems, man. Nothing's ever happened to them. They're just fine. They've never made a mistake.
Yeah.
And it's just such bullshit. I mean, if you talk to anybody that has done anything of significance, these people have been through a lot of shit. So what's the lesson here? And the lesson that I get from it is you got to be mentally tough. There at some point in your life, you have to decide that I'm going to be tougher than any situation that comes my way. Doesn't matter what happens to me. Doesn't matter what lawsuit happens. Doesn't matter who does what. It doesn't matter, anything that goes on in my life. I'm going to be tougher, better, stronger than any situation that comes my way. Now I'm going to try to be wiser next time. I'm going to try to be smarter next time. So maybe some of this doesn't happen. And of course, we're learning lessons, but man, mental toughness is so key to living a life of abundance. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, your mental mindset is everything. When something negative and bad happens to me, I'll be honest with you, Daniel, I'm already over it the second it happened. I'm already moved on. I'm like, okay, that happened. Great. I'm over it. Let's move on. I don't dwell about it for a half hour, an hour. I'm already over it after it happened. Like, bad things happen, things break in my business because I own a lot of companies and things break. I have a fulfillment company yesterday. We're doing something for Travis Scott, and huge problem happened yesterday. And it was a big problem. I had like 65 guys. I had to work 24-hour shift last night because he needed this emergency. It was a big mess up. It was a big client and make tons of money. And that's a huge problem. And I had to pay double time and overtime and all the crazy things. People are working all night. They're working right now this morning, right, to get this out for Travis Scott, one of our big clients. So it's just, you're doing these things, problems happen every time. I don't go, oh, no. I go, call every agency we know and get 60 goddamn people out there and let's get it done before the morning, right? Problems happen. It's all about, you're already over it. You just think, when a problem happens, you got to think solutions. And it's all, like you said, it's about mindset, getting over it, and just coming up with a solution. And I actually like problems. It's funny because you learn from them. And now that problem's never going to happen again because you've learned. And it makes you that much closer to getting more and more successful. You're make those mistakes that your competitors are going to make. You're like, I'm not going to make that mistake anymore, and they're going to make it because they don't have that life experience. But yeah, it's all about.
Plus, you become the coach. You become the leader because you could talk about the experiences. You've already been through it. That's why I think coaching and mentorship is so key, because if you ask a coach, especially somebody who's been around a little while and they've been through a lot of, experiences, you can ask them, you could say, how do I do this? How do I do that? But then you got to become coachable, I think, because if that guy is where you want to be and he's giving you advice, he's telling you that based on experience. He's not telling you that based on, hey, I think this is going to work. I think this will be good. But he's like going, all right, I've been through that shit. I know what you're going through. I get it. This is how you need to approach the situation. So when you think about e-commerce, what separates you? Like, what is, is there any differentiator between you and maybe some other companies that you've seen?
It's funny that you say that. I've put in the reps, right? Just like you have. Why you've been in your business, what you said, 28 years?
28 years, yeah.
Okay. In 28 years, you know your business better than anyone in the industry. Why? Because you've been doing it for 28 years. You've put in the reps, right? And I tell every entrepreneur, every young person that starts a business, it's reps. You got to put in a lot of time. And I'm confident right now in e-commerce. I've run ads for 15 years in a row every single day. And I look at ads and creatives and offers and landing pages and that every single day for 15 years. I'm pretty good, right? And I don't think anyone's better because I've looked at millions and millions of pieces of content. So I could dissect an ad or a website in 2 seconds now because it's all in here. It's the repetition. I tell people, these people that have, these guys that are big and muscular, they didn't get big by going to the gym once a week or twice a week, man. They could probably go to the gym 2 or 3 times a day for 10 years. And that's why they're huge. And that's why they got big muscles, right? Those pro athletes, LeBron, Lionel Messi, Ronaldo, the best players in the world, the guys that get paid $500 million, right? In a 10-year contract or 5-year contract, right? Where they're the best at what they do because they started training when they were 4 and they played soccer every day, 8-10 hours a day. LeBron James probably practiced basketball 12 hours a day since he was a kid. And you just got to put in the reps, and that's what makes you better than everyone else.
And do you think that this next generation or this generation, is there any difference with this next generation? Do you think kids are softer now? They're maybe don't work as hard. Do you see that, or do you feel that at all? Or is it just in my mind because I'm getting older?
I think maybe people, because of social media, everyone's a millionaire on social media. Have you ever been to a social media profile where they don't look like they're a millionaire? Like, that's the problem, right? So everyone thinks it's so easy But 99% of those people aren't millionaires on social media. They portray they're millionaires. Everyone thinks they are because of what the purse they have, or the shoes they're wearing, or the picture they took in front of a Lambo, right? But 99% of these people don't make much money. But everyone sees that, right? So now everyone thinks it's easy because everyone has it. But when it's only the 1% that have it, right? And so I don't think people are lazy. They just think it's so much easier now, which it's not, right?
So they're not putting in the reps. They're not putting in that time.
They're not putting the work, but there is way much more opportunity now than there was 28 years ago.
Absolutely.
Right? When you started your business, social media didn't exist when you started your business. It wasn't even around. There wasn't an Instagram when you started your business, right? There wasn't an Instagram when I started my business. That didn't exist. So we had to do things the old school way, right? We had to talk to people in person. We had to, we had to have people in our living room and close them in person and do things like that. And then Facebook and Google finally came, and Instagram and WhatsApp and all these different things. And then we had to use those technologies to grow our businesses. So I think now it's 10 times easier because there's all these platforms. And now there's AI that automates things. It writes your copy for you. It does your ads. It's like right now, there's so many tools, and social media is free. Like if you're not posting on social media and taking advantage of a free platform that lets you build your brand for free, I think you're crazy, So I don't know. I think it's so much easier nowadays to make money, but at the end of the day, you still need to put in the reps.
Well, I just had a tech failure here. There we go. I just lost my background for a second. Sorry about that.
Other background was nice too. That was
really yeah. No. I mean, you're right. And I was just thinking as you were talking, I was thinking like, I mean, in 1996, I got started. And so, I mean, we had payphones, man. We had to go to payphones. I mean, we still had to, I had to carry change in my pocket for when I had to contact my client or whatever, or you'd have to drive an hour in traffic and then you would get there and they wouldn't be there. Imagine.
Yeah.
I just text you this morning. I'm like, hey man, just wanted to confirm we're going to be on for this morning. You're like, yeah, no problem. You send me a little thumbs up, blah, 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 whatever. Like, imagine. We didn't have that back then. You have to actually go to the people's house. If they didn't answer their phone for whatever reason, because they were out in the backyard watering or something, like you're not going to get a hold of them. I mean, we have our phones basically glued to our bodies now. So when you get a text or something happens, we know about it. It's wild.
You're in Newport Beach. I'm in Beverly Hills right now, and we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
That's freaking amazing. I could be right now in freaking China, and we could be doing a podcast.
It's unbelievable.
So and now the phone is a computer, right? Like I'm on my phone now more than I'm on my laptop.
Right.
It's my computer. It's like I could be anywhere. As long as I have a charger and I have my phone, I could travel the world and do business. And that wasn't available before. So now it's like, that's what I mean, that it's easier now to make money, but you still need to put in the reps.
Right.
Because you have your phone, you could contact anyone, you could build relationships, you could post on social media for free. You got coaching and mentors all over any internet. If you want to be an expert in selling stocks, there's coaches on that. If you want to be an expert in real estate, there's coaches on that. If you want to be an expert in freaking health and beauty, there's experts in that. It's like, it's so easy to get educated in a field now and to become an expert in something. It's at your fingertips. So I don't know when people.
So how does the political climate affect you? Like where does politics play? Does it play any role in what you do at all? Like in your life and investing and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Anyone that says politics plays a role is not a businessman. I'm just being honest. When I've had Democrats presidents, Republicans presidents, It doesn't matter. I've made money with Democrats in the office or Republicans. I live in a Democratic state. I live in California. It's been Democratic ever since I was born. You know, so it's been red. I mean blue, right? So it's a blue state, Democratic, and I lived here my whole life. It's very, obviously taxes are very high. There's state income tax. There's all these regulations in California. It's the most regulated state in America. So it doesn't matter where you live. You can make money wherever you are. And we're fortunate, Daniel, because we live in America. And even though there's tons of taxes, we have so much opportunity. It doesn't matter who's president. Obviously, I'm Republican, so I don't care if it's Trump or whoever's running for office and that represents the Republican Party. And the only reason is because I want to save money on taxes and I want less regulation so business owners, capitalism could survive and grow. When you put regulations, you put all these taxes, the small business owners are the ones that get hurt the most. People that know about taxes and people like me aren't going to get affected by who's going to be president, if it's a Republican or a Democrat. It's the small business owners that are the ones that are going to get crushed. And that's why I think it's important who wins in that, but it's not going to really affect your business.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been saying this for years, man. I made money through every president that has come through, and there's no president that made me not make money. Always had opportunity because we live in America and I love America. I mean, I fly my flag every single day. I mean, there's just, I am completely grateful. I've traveled all over the world, and every time I step back on that plane or I get back into LAX, it's like, thank God, right? I mean, I love, I love America. Like I love traveling. I mean, traveling is my hobby. This is what I love to do. Yeah. And I love seeing different cultures and different people and going different places and experiences. But you always love coming back to America, man. And because America's free. I mean, America really is freedom. This is the challenge that I see, David, and I think we're on the same page here, is that what I see for the future is very scary, right? We had a great upbringing because, you know, we were born in, you know, around the 70s. And so all our life, we've kind of had, you know, the Constitution was still a big part of being an American. And of course, you know, we want to be, you know, good Americans. And so we follow the Constitution, things like that, most of our life. But slowly but surely, it's kind of being eroded. Do you kind of feel that way a little bit? I mean, socialism is kind of creeping its ugly head into America. Do you feel that? Do you see that?
I definitely see it. And it's us as adults and what we got to teach our kids, right? Because that's the next generation. So us as parents, you know, when you have kids and what have you, you need to teach your kids, like, this is right and this is wrong. It's funny. I had the Patriot Barbie was one of my speakers last night at my Growth Talks event. I don't know if you know who she is.
Yeah. I've heard of her.
She's huge. She was with Elon. She was with who's she with? She was with Tucker Carlson last Friday. And
wow. Okay. I was actually, me and my son, we went to Anaheim and saw Tucker and Vivek Ramaswamy and RFK.
Yeah, and she was with Russell Brand. They're like friends, right? They like hang out. She was with Donald Trump 6 weeks ago. She was my speaker at the Growth Talks yesterday. And it's funny, during her speech, she went to like the border where she has kids, and she dressed in like in a cat outfit, a cat, like dressed up as a cat. And and her school where her kids were going, the school was becoming very liberal, and kids were able to declare themselves as a cat, as a dog, as you know how LGBTQ.
Yeah.
And she went to the board dressed up as a cat, and she goes, "Am I a god? Everyone here, we all have common sense, right? I am not a goddamn cat because I dress up as a cat. I am a woman, and that is a man. My husband is a man. He's not a dog. He's not a lion, right?" And it's how you raise your kids, right? You got to teach your kids. There's not all these different races. There's men and women, and that's it, right? And I think, yes, it's crazy what's going on. And I love having people like her and all these people that are fighting it, because you need that other side to fight the crazies that think that you can be a dog and you can be a cat. Like, who thinks like that? I don't know what cocaine or heroin or whatever they're on, but I mean, what's going on? Like, there needs to be the other people that are rebelling, which I'm happy. There are those Patriot Barbie, and there's all these people. There's Tucker Carlson, and there's Elon Musk, where there's a platform now where they're not like suppressing the truth. Like, there's free speech. Like, wow, that's back now. That's crazy. There wasn't free speech before Elon Musk. Now people could actually post things and it's not getting shut down in 2 seconds.
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg just came out and said, like, he was pressured by the Biden Harris administration to suppress free speech. I mean, we got a couple of things that unite us as Americans. Let's be real clear. It's freedom of speech, man. I mean, that's the number one thing. I mean, that is our Constitution. That is our belief as Americans. If we lose that, we lose America. And it's funny because I have a lot of friends that live around the world. And you know what's crazy is I was in Australia, and what I kept hearing in Australia is, if America goes down, the whole world goes down. You know, America has to stay strong in its ability to have free speech and free elections. And, you know, like, think about it. I mean, they are literally, the Democrats are putting their rivals, their political rivals, in jail. They're trying to put Trump in jail. And you go, this is just wild. This is the stuff of banana republics. This is the stuff of, you know, other countries. This is like Venezuela. I mean, you can't do that. That is wild. And so, and when people start thinking that's okay, because I mean, look, I'm a businessman, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to make money no matter what. I'm with you, man. I mean, it doesn't really, I mean, I'm going to make money, and thank God I became financially independent at a young age. So I'll be okay for the rest of my life, my kids' lives, probably my grandkids' lives at this point. We're all okay. You know, it's not going to make a difference for me if Harris gets elected. But I just get nervous 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line. If we don't stop this shit right now, we're in trouble 20 years down the line as Americans, if we lose these basic rights like freedom of speech and our guns and things like that.
No, I'm on board. That's why I love these people that are fighting. Like, I support them, right? Because we got to fight back for all the crazies, right? Totally. All this woke stuff. These crazy woke ideas are like, I don't even know who came up with these crazy woke ideas, and people believe them. It's like, I don't even know how people could believe some of these things, and it's scary. And I'm super happy that people are fighting back, because just imagine they didn't fight back. We would have like communism here. We would have socialism, and that's why like states are getting divided, right? Thank God there's states that are Republican and there's states that are Democratic, right? So if you're in a state and they end up, let's say that California, they completely just mess it up, and like, you can't leave your house without, you know, wearing a mask or whatever. It becomes totally crazy. Guess what? I would have to go buy a property in Florida, or I would have to go to, you know, I would have to go to a Republican state. It hasn't got to that level, right? But they're almost making it like that, right? They're making it where certain states, like, you don't even want to live there anymore, because it's just the rules and regulations, what they're doing. And the US is going to divide. There's going to be 30 states that are Republican, that are like, hey, capitalism, less taxes. And there's going to be 15, 20 states that are, hey, the woke people. And you're going to see those states are the ones that are going to go downhill.
I mean, all of the messed up states are run by Democrats. Like, what I don't understand, and I'm still confused about it. Okay, if I lived in Chicago, let's just say we lived in Chicago, there's like 14 or 15 murders every weekend, maybe even more. I don't know. That number might be wrong, but I think there's even more. But there's like murders every single weekend in Chicago. And the crime is through the roof. People are broke. I mean, the economy's bad. People are stealing everywhere they go, kind of like California. There's like, I mean, could you imagine there's a $900 cap? Like if you steal $900 worth of stuff, we're not going to put you in jail. If you steal 1,000, we're going to put you in jail. Like, who came up with that idea? Who came up with that brilliant idea? So, but imagine you're living in Chicago and it's run by Democrats forever and it's a total mess. And you go, you're scratching your head going, why do we keep voting these people in? Like, why do we keep putting the same, senators and congressmen and all these people that are running the city, mayors and governors, and, why are they the same people all the time? And these people that are living there, don't you think you would say, all right, this is bullshit. Like, I can't believe California, the people of California. I mean, we're a pretty educated state. I mean, a lot of people are educated here. A lot of people are very smart, very bright, but you're going, why do you keep voting for Democrats as your taxes go up and the services go down? And you're a sanctuary city allowing illegals to come here to devastate our economy. Why do we keep voting the same people in when that's not okay? I don't get it.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And what I think it is, that's one reason why they let a lot of illegals in, because now they're letting them vote, right? And they're giving them access to vote. So that's their whole game plan, right? You let illegals in so then they could get the votes. That's number one. Number two, they give a lot of things to the very, very poor people, right? There's a lot of government programs, so then they'll get their votes, right? It's the middle class and the upper class it's the middle class that's getting affected, unfortunately. And the middle class needs to wake up and go, these handouts they're giving you, you'd make so much more money if you actually just became more capitalistic rather than take these free handouts that people are giving you. You live a much better life. And if people understood that, more people would vote Republican. I just don't think, it's the messaging, right? The Democrats control all the media, right? They control all the media outlets. There's like one or two, there's Fox and there's X. Those are the only like Republican channels in the world, right? Everything else, every channel on TV, every newspaper, every magazine, it's all owned by the Democrats. So when you control the media, you control what everyone's seeing. You could brainwash people pretty easily.
Yeah, it was crazy because the debates were on last night, and Donald Trump, the two moderators, I felt like Donald Trump was doing a debate against three other people. It was literally 3 against 1. And because the moderators were like fact checking Donald Trump, they never fact checked Kamala Harris, but they were totally just like every time they would go, "Oh, thank you, Miss Harris. We really appreciate it." And then when it was Donald Trump, they're like, "All right, you're done, Donald Trump." Miss Harris, and then it was so one-sided. It was almost comical because if you thought it wasn't one-sided, you're in outer space. You're on another planet. You have no clue about anything. And it was sad. It was sad to me that we're in this situation where, to me, the commentators should be so curious because they're journalists. They're real journalists. Yeah. And they should be so curious to go, wait a minute, Mrs. Harris, why is it that you flip-flop on this? Why do you want to give immigrants transgender surgery? And you want the taxpayers to fund it. Okay, Ms. Harris, why is it that you guys have let in 11, 12 million undocumented illegal people? Why is it, Ms. Harris, that you're allowing these little kids to get shipped off all over the country to places that we can't even verify? So we got all these missing kids, which, by the way, is child trafficking, 100%. I actually had interviewed somebody not too long ago. He actually goes undercover to save kids in child trafficking. So he's a Trump guy, big time, because he's like, Trump's the only one that actually cares about closing the border so we can stop child trafficking. And the last thing I'll say about that is that what's wild is that anybody, and if there's a Democrat watching right now on YouTube right now, and you're watching or you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or whatever, if you're listening to my words, I want you to know, if you're a Democrat, you are literally funding child trafficking. We are sending kids from the border all across the United States to be trafficked. And if you don't understand that, watch my other podcast that, and I'll leave the description down below of that podcast. But it's absolutely crazy. And that, to me, David, is one of my biggest issues, man. Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see little kids getting hurt. I don't want to see bad things. And I don't think any Democrat would really want that to happen. I don't think they ever want kids to be harmed.
I don't think any
realize that they're allowing that to happen by their vote.
Yeah. No human being ever wants that to happen. It doesn't matter red or blue, Democrat, Republican. It's just kids don't know. They're kids, right? And you can't do things like that. Like, I don't know. I had an event yesterday, so I was trying, when you have an event, you couldn't really watch the debate, unfortunately, right? Because it was at the exact same time, but we had it on in the background, right? So, but people that told me that watched it, they were like, yeah, the commentating, like you said, and it must have been really bad. And you gotta, that's why I remember Donald Trump was saying, I didn't want to he didn't want to go because of those commentators. He's like, just get me a different commentator and I'll do it. And now you know why.
Yeah, he called it, man. He called it. All right, look, man. There's a lot of entrepreneurs watching right now, and I really want to hit, just real quickly, I want to hit on, what are some ads, or what are some tips that you can give them regarding ads, regarding marketing themselves online, regarding actually, setting up a website or landing page, things like that. Because I think everybody needs that, right? Everybody needs to have something like that. And so could you give us a couple of tips on what you would do, or you would recommend to these entrepreneurs?
100%. So number one, if you're a small business owner, whatever business you have, number one, you got to have a website. If you don't have a website, that's your way of showing people what you do, and for people to buy your product or service, or schedule an appointment with you, right? Or go to your restaurant or your chiropractor business or whatever you have. Number one, a website. And now there's so many websites out there that make it practically free or cheap. There's Shopify.com. You could have a website for $25 a month. Super cheap. It's all built for you. It's connected to merchant processing. You could accept credit card transaction. It's done for you, right? So there's no excuse, and there's templates. It literally, you could drag and drop and pretty much build your website with their templates. It's very simple, right? So that's number one. Number two, take advantage of social media. It's free. Get an Instagram account, get a Facebook account, get a YouTube account, get a TikTok account, right? Depending on your business, if you're B2B, get a LinkedIn account. All these different accounts, sign up for them all. They're all free. And post content on them. They are free, right? And then what you should do, the only way your business is going to turn into an 8-figure business, it's never going to turn into an 8-figure business by word of mouth, right? If you're just word of mouthing, you're going to a trade show, you're going to networking conferences, you're getting referrals from clients, you're part of Chamber of Commerce, those are all great things. You should do them. But they're never going to get you to $10 million a year, to 8 figures. It's not going to happen. It's going to get you to 7 figures, 6 figures, but you got to run ads to really scale, right? Because if let's say I'm an accounting firm, I'm a small business, and I go to all these networking shows and these events and all these things, and I get one client a week. That's 52 clients a year, right? That's one client who has 52 weeks in a year. And my average client pays me $1,000 a year to do a tax return. I'm making $52,000 a year every year, right? And that's me being a great networker, trade shows, Chamber of Commerce, conferences, getting clients to refer me business. So $52,000 a year as an accounting firm or whatever, times 20 years, I finally do $1 million in sales. After 20 years of being a crazy networker. Do you see how getting to 8 figures is almost impossible that way? Right? It's not going to happen. You need to run ads, right? Now, let's say you run ads. Let me give you that same example, Daniel. I run ads. I run 30 ads a day on Facebook and Instagram, right? And of those 30 ads, let's say I'm the worst salesperson in the world. I only convert 10% of them. I close 3 people out of the 30. 27 people out of 30 don't want to do business with me, okay? Now I close 3 deals. There's 365 days a year. So if I close 3 deals a day times 365, that's over 1,000 customers a year, right? So if I have 1,000 customers, that same example as an accounting firm, and I charge $1,000 a year to do their tax return, $1,000 customers times 1,000 a year is $1 million in sales. So in 1 year, by running small ads and only getting 30 leads a day and closing 3, I'm a millionaire in 1 year, not 20. So that's my hopefully wake-up call, my, whoa, I never thought of it that way. You could actually become a millionaire in year 1 compared to 20 years by doing it the old school way. So that's my major tip I wanted to give. Build a website, post on social media for free, run ads. If you do those 3 things, you have a high likelihood of becoming a millionaire, and you have a very high likelihood to hitting 8 figures.
I love it, man. So you said it right now. You actually showed us a legitimate, viable way how to make $1 million. You just showed us right now. Exactly. So if we just follow what you just said to do, posting 30 ads every single day, we just get 3 sales a day. The thing never stops forever because you can continue to run ads and you can continue to work that number, because it's really quantity of eyeballs, right? It's lots and lots of eyeballs. It's lots of I mean, I've been telling my agents for years, Coca-Cola runs ads every day, every single day, not just one ad. I mean, they spend $1 billion, probably a couple $1 billion every year just on ads every single year, but they make, $100 billion a year. So what? Maybe it's 1% or 2% of their budget. It's nothing. So 100%. I think what happens, and correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe elaborate on this a little bit, but like think about this for a second. Somebody makes $1,000 for 1 sale. They're always afraid to spend $100. They're afraid to spend $100 to get back 1,000. But I always thought in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute, if I spend $100 to get 1,000, then I'm making $900 that I didn't have, by the way. I didn't have the $900 yesterday. If I wouldn't have spent $100 to get the 1,000 that netted me 900. So are people just afraid? Is that what it is? They're afraid to fail or to lose money, or it's like the risk thing, right? I always used to say no wealth without risk. What do you say?
You nailed it, right? People are scared to fail. That's number 1, right? They're like, oh, I'm scared to lose that marketing money. But if you don't spend that marketing money, you're never going to make additional money. It's like people are always scared to start a business because they're like scared that I might run out of money. And you need to spend money to make real money, right?
Okay,
and
pause real quick. Pause. We just so look, you just put together an absolute game plan for somebody that's serious about their life. I mean, so if somebody's serious about changing their life, it's up to them. They have the tools now of exactly what they can do to kind of make that, and look, I've been telling all of my agents for years and years and years, if they just have some sort of social media game plan, and then they run some ads, because I did it in 2020 when COVID came out. First thing I did, David, And I've never ran ads in my life, by the way. I never advertised for my business. It was always word of mouth and all that kind of stuff. We didn't really have that kind of stuff growing up in the business. At least for me, it was never a part of our strategy, you know. But during COVID, like right when COVID hit, I said, you know what? I'm going to run some ads. I'm going to do some videos. I'm going to do some whatever. And because I wanted to show my team that you can make money in any market. Like if there's a major pandemic, I can make money. If things are good, I can make money. If things are bad, I can make money. It doesn't matter. I will always make money. And so I ran ads, not a lot. I actually didn't spend very much money running it, but every day I was getting like 30, 40 leads a day. I recruited that year. I recruited like 61 people, which was a record for me of my entire career, by the way. And it was starting from zero because I wasn't really in the, I haven't been totally in the field for a lot of years. So when COVID hit, I was like, okay, I'm starting from scratch. This is what I'm going to do. And I did it. I had my best recruiting year. And I had one of my best sales years, personal, like just by myself. And I'm sitting in my underwear on a laptop all day long, David. So like, imagine. I mean, I brought in
funny.
So much,
too much information.
Exactly. No, it is funny though. It is funny though, because I think one of my kids took a picture of me looking downstairs because it was in my old house and in the dining room. And I had black shorts on, but it totally looked like I was in my underwear. And I posted it, and everybody laughed at it because they were like, "Oh my God, he's in his underwear." But think about it. Look at Kevin O'Leary from the Shark Tank. He loves to post his, like when he's behind the scenes, he's just in shorts, man. Like he's got his nice suit on and he's got shorts on. So bottom line is anybody can make money in any market. Would you agree?
100%. It doesn't, and just, the most wealth is built during down markets. That's when you make the most money. During COVID, like, how I crushed it during COVID. I murdered it, right? 2008 and 9 in the real estate crash, I bought real estate property.
Right.
I bought the house I live in now.
It's awesome.
Right? So, I mean, you do things, right? When everything is bad, that's when you dive in. And that's when you work harder, because that's when the opportunities are. There's more opportunities because everyone's panicking, and that's when I bought more stock. When COVID happened, I bought way more stock because all the stock crashed and they went crashing down. I'm like, these companies are going to be back in business. These are just like Coca-Cola. These are companies that are like not going anywhere, right? And I bought these blue chip stocks because I knew they were going to come right back up, and they did. And I made a ton of money during COVID because of stocks and business, and just, you got to take advantage of those opportunities because they don't happen every year. They happen every decade. So when those decade opportunities happen, take advantage of them.
For sure, man. For sure.
And like you said, you can't be scared, right? You mentioned people are scared to run ads. People are scared to start a business. I always say this, if you don't do it, you're going to be in the same position you are now. And are you happy in the position you are in now? And 99.9% of the people say no. Then go, you need to do something different because it's not working, right? If you're not happy where you're at, do something different. And that's why you got to try. If you don't do anything different, you're just going to be in the same position you were a year ago, 5 years ago.
Well, you're absolutely right, man. I mean, that's why, look, I mean, we recruit every single day. My organization's recruiting like 200 people a month right now. So if there's people out there that are like looking for something different, like just show me, teach me, help me, whatever. I'm still coaching people, man. I'm still training people. I'm still actually personally training people. My son's in business with me now, which is awesome that, he's understanding the business now, license and all that kind of stuff. And I want to help him. I want to see him become successful. I want to see him do well. So I'm getting in the game, man. So I'm training people right now, and I'm having a blast, by the way. I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun right now doing it, training up, building up new people right now. It's so much fun. So David, tell me what two things, right? What do you want your legacy to be? And number two, how do we get a hold of you? How do we, connect with you? How do we know more about you?
So legacy wise, I want to change 100,000 people's lives. That's my goal, right? Either they'll read one of my books I'm going to write. Maybe they'll come to one of my Growth Talks events. I've had thousands and thousands of employees, maybe them working for me. Maybe, they'll watch my posts I post on social media day on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, and they'll learn the nugget. I just want to change people's lives and get thank you text messages, thank you DMs, thank you emails. And that's all I want in return. I don't need their money. I make a lot of money, right? But if I could change 100,000 people's lives, so when I die, I'm like, wow, David made an impact on my life. So that's why I put on that event, the mastermind event. That's why I post on social media. I'm hoping I'm providing value. I'm serving people, helping. That's my way of giving back. And I love it because I'm like you. I love to teach. You don't need to train people. You make lots. You're already, God, very, very, very wealthy. You don't have to work a day in your life, but you're doing that because you love to help people. You love to provide value. And that's the kind of stage, that's where I am at in my life as well. And that's what my legacy I want to be. I want when I have my kids, I want them to be successful, provide good values. I want my Rivero brand, my Rivero last name to be in the names of the Rockefellers, the Trumps, the, big brands. When you hear of these brands, oh, you're a Rivero? Holy shit, you own this? You guys own those 50 buildings and those 20 companies that do $100 million in sales? Like, wow, you're a Rivero? That's what I want the legacy to be by changing people's lives, right? So that's the legacy. If you want to get a hold of me, it's the David Rivero on Instagram, TikTok. I'm on YouTube. Pretty much if you go on Google and type in David Rivero, I come up everywhere. You'll find me. So just type in my name, David Rivero, on Google. I'm everywhere. So thank you very much. Also, you can go to my website, it's davidrivero.com. It's just my name, davidrivero.com. Give me a follow, DM me. I'm all about building relationships. And Daniel, I want to thank you for having me on your podcast. It's always great talking to you. Hopefully we'll do some more talks. Hopefully we'll do some business together. Hopefully we'll go have, dinner one of these nights and talk shop and just have some laughs and some fun.
Love it, man. Well, I'm 100% with you. And, there's no question, David, you are an inspiration to so many people. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for, offering your house up to allow people to grow their life and to, take their lives and their thinking to the next level. You're on pace to help that 100,000 people. I'm sure you're going to get there very, very soon. Probably you're going to up that to 1 million people, because I think you'll hit that 100,000 very, very quickly. You are making a major, major impact for a lot of people. Look, if people are out there right now watching, listening, do me a favor, huge favor. I always ask you guys to do this, but make sure you reach out to David, even if it's just say, what's up? Thank you so much. Connect, just say hello, go on his Instagram, the David Rivero, and just say, look, man, we appreciate you going on Wealth on the Beach podcast. And, we appreciate your thinking, because I think when you're around other people that think right, and then you start figuring it out, you start to become more confident in your life. So it's people like you that give people the confidence to take more risks, to go for their dreams. And ultimately, either one of us wouldn't be where we're at today if somebody didn't believe in us, somebody didn't see something in us. And by the way, if we didn't take the chance and the risk to, effing go for it, And so good on you, David. And so do me a favor, everybody, make sure you reach out, say hello. With that said, also FYI, y'all know I have a book. It's called Wealth on the Beach, 11 Laws for Building Financial Freedom. Check that out on Amazon. It's also on Audible if you like to hear the voice better, on audiobooks. And of course, I have Wealth on the Beach Club every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you'd like to join, go to wealthonthebeach.com. Love you guys. Continue to dream bigger, get after it, but most importantly, do it now. God bless you. We will see you at the top.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, man.